All right, today we're going to review how 3 ways to find a slope. Well, one from 2 points, and you find it with the slope formula. One from 2 points, and you're graphing it and find your rise over run, or just from an equation. Okay. So this one here, we're going to start on the left. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All that means is your change in your y. How much is it changing from one y to the other over your change in your x. Okay, that's all that's finding. All right, so over our first example here, let's just get in the habit of always writing the slope formula so that way we remember it. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? And now what you want to do is you always want to go through and you want to label your points. So x1, x2, and then your y1 and your y2. Always go label your points so that way that it's really easy to plug into the formula. Okay, so that is equal to y2, which is 7. So let's plug in 7 minus your y1, which is 5, all over your x2, which is 1, minus your x1, which is 3. So that is equal to 7 minus 5 is 2, and 1 minus 3 is negative 2. And so that will give you a grand total of -1. So your m, or your slope, is -1. Okay? And then I gave you another example down below, so you can try on your own. Okay? So 10, 1 and -5, -4. All right. Next one is also from 2 points, but we're going to find out how to find it graphically. Okay. I am going to add 2 points down here, though. I'm going to add point C, or line C. I'm going to add, this is going to be 4, 0, 4, 2. Okay, and then we're going to want to find our m here. And same thing with the d. Okay, I'm going to add another line. So we're going to have 4 lines on one graph. 0, -4, and -2, -4. Okay, so we're going to have 4 lines on this one grid. I did space them out so they're not going to really run into each other that much. All right, so I am going to, and then we're going to find the m also. This. All right. So if you do not like the slope formula that we did on the left, you can certainly just grab a graph or some graph paper and draw your own graph and find rise over run. That's what we're going to do right now. Okay. So the letter A, I'm going to graph in red. Okay. So first I'm going to graph -3, 1. So that is -3 to the left on the x, and then +1 is up 1 on the y. Okay. And then -4, -2 is going to be left 4 and down 2. All right, always do your x-coordinate first, then your y-coordinate. All right, and draw a line. You don't need to draw a long line, just a line long enough to connect those 2 points. And then what I always do is I draw a triangle, and I always go where I always go on the left of the line. Okay, so that way my rise is either going to be positive or negative. All right, so you can draw your triangle below or above the line. It does not matter. Okay, and so now we want to find our rise over run. So let's go ahead and make a note for ourselves. The slope here. The m, how we find it, is your rise over your run, or what we said earlier, it's basically just the change in y over the change in the x. Okay? All right, good. So now we're going to find out how much we rise by. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3. So that is going to be a +3 because I went up. And then we are going to run 1. So that's +1. So my rise over run is 3. Over +1, which is just equal to 3. Okay? All right, line B I'm going to do in blue. All right, so we have 5, -3. So we want to go 5 on our x and -3 on our y, so that is 5 to the right and 3 down. Okay, and then 2, 1 is 2 to the right and 1 up. All right, you're going to connect yourself. Just draw a long enough line just to connect those so all of our lines don't run into each other. All right, I'm going to draw a triangle. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you draw your triangle above or below the line, but you do need a right triangle that connects your 2 points. And we're going to find a rise over run. So our rise, we're going down 1, 2, 3, 4. Since we went down, that is -4. And we're going to the right, 1, 2, 3. So that is going to be a +3. So our rise over our run is -4 over 3. And there is no reducing you need to do there, so that is your final answer, just -4 over 3. Okay. All right, the next line I'm going to do in pink here, line C. I have a 4, 0. So that is going to be 4 on my x and 0 on my y. So it's going to be right on your x-axis, or in other words, your x-intercept. All right, and then 4 comma 2 is going to be 4 on my x and 2 on my y. Okay, and then you just can draw a line long enough just to connect those two. Doesn't need to be a long line. Okay, and now this one is one of the special case slopes here. We are going to find the rise over the run. Okay, so first the rise, we're going to rise 1, 2, so that is a positive 2. And you see how we cannot run any, so that is a run. So I can write a 0. That is a run of 0. Okay, actually I'll put 0 there. All right, so that is a run of 0. So if you write your rise over run, you got your rise of 2 and your run of 0. Well, hopefully you guys know that anything divided by 0 is undefined. All right, so if you guys just want to remember that a vertical line is undefined slope, then you don't have to find rise over run. You just automatically know, oh, the slope is undefined. Okay, slope is undefined. All right, good. All right, and so line D, I'll go ahead and do in like a light blue or turquoise. Okay. All right, so line D is 0, negative 4, so that's 0 on the x, so 0 left to right, and then I'm going to go down 4 on my y to negative 4. Okay, so that is where your y-intercept would be. And then I'm going to use negative 2, negative 4. So I'm going to go negative 2 on my x, which is left 2, and then down 4, which is negative 4 on my y. And this you'll see is a horizontal line. Let's go ahead and connect that with a line. And when we're going to find our rise over our run, well, you see that we rise 0. We cannot rise anything, but we're going to run 1, 2. Okay, so that is going to be running 2. So if you write our rise over our run, we're going to have a rise of 0, and a run of 2. Okay, well, 0 divided by anything is 0. Okay, so if you guys just want to put that in your memory bank, any horizontal line is going to give you a 0 slope. All right, good. Okay, so if you're given 2 points, you can find it either graphically or you can find it by using the slope formula. Okay, so either one. It does not matter how you find your answer as long as you find it some way, somehow. All right, cool. All right, so lastly, when you're just given an equation, y equals mx plus b, okay, the m here, the m is your slope or your rate of change, okay, slash rate of change. Okay, so we're not really worried about our b, okay, all we're trying to find is a slope. So the first one's really easy. Whatever number is multiplying to your x, or in other words, the coefficient of the x, that is your m. So m here is 3. That one is easy, okay? All right, this is in standard form. I'm going to show you 2 ways to solve this one. All right, the first way is to just get y by itself. So this is a longer way, but is the way that if you forget how to use a shortcut, then this way you can always use because it's just solving for y. Okay, so we need to get y by itself. So first, we need to move the x over, and there's actually only 2 steps. First, we're going to subtract the x to the other side. So that is minus 2x, and then bring everything down. So we got a 3y is equal to, and that negative 2x and the 7, they cannot combine. So I'm going to write those separately. That's negative 2x plus 7. Okay. And then the second step and the last step is just to divide by the coefficient of the y. And notice how I'm dividing everything by 3. I don't want to have a big fraction on the right. I want to have separate fractions or whole numbers if they reduce. All right, so I have a y is equal to, and then negative 2x over 3. I cannot reduce that, so I'm just going to leave that as negative 2 over 3. And then I always like to just make that a fraction, and then the x is multiplied to it. All right, I'm not really worried about the y-intercept, but we can go and write it. That's plus 7 over 3. All right, so your m here, your m, or your slope, or your rate of change is just that fraction, negative 2 over 3. Okay, that is a long way to do it. Now the shortcut way is to realize that this equation is in standard form, which is ax plus by is equal to c. All right, that a, b, and c, they stand for constants. Okay, so your slope, your shortcut way, is negative a over b. Okay, what that means is the opposite of a over b. Okay, so m equals the opposite of the number in the a spot, which is 2. So that is the opposite of 2 is negative 2 over your b, which is going to be that number in the b spot connected to the y. So it's negative 2 over 3. So you see how both ways we got negative 2 over 3. If you remember the shortcut, great. You'll save yourself a couple minutes. But if you don't remember, that's okay. Just solve it the long way. All right, cool. 2 more. This is going to be the special case slopes. All right, so you notice how we do not have a y. Okay, the y is missing. What this means is this line will not cross the y-axis. Okay, so that means that the line should be vertical, because the only line that can never cross the y-axis is a vertical line or parallel to the y-axis. So if you do not have a y, you have a vertical line. So that means, hopefully you guys learned that from the previous problem, or from the graphs, that a vertical line is undefined. Okay, so if there is no y, undefined slope. So you can either remember that or think about it graphically. All right, and then the next one is you notice how there's no x. Okay, so that means this line will never cross the x-axis. Okay, so that means that it needs to be parallel to the x-axis, or in other words, a horizontal line. So your slope, so your m, is equal to 0. Okay, so because remember, a horizontal line is 0. All right, so like I said, either remember that or just think about it graphically. Okay. All right, so here is your total notes here. You can find it from 2 points using a slope formula or by graphing it. And then from any linear equation, does not matter the form, you'll be able to find the slope. Okay, hope this helps.